Hi guys, it's been almost 2 months since I uploaded on here, and I wanted to really quickly update you guys on everything before I go into the Maldives vlog. So after the first Bali vlog, we decided to spend another 2 weeks in Bali. We had a great time. We stayed at the most beautiful volcano overseeing Airbnb, which I'll insert here. And then, instead of carrying on with our trip, we decided to cut it short and go back to America for 3 weeks because we both had a lot of work commitments. After working non-stop for 3 weeks in America, we decided to plan the rest of our trip because, as you guys know, we gave up our Dallas apartment and we're currently homeless, because we wanted to make the most out of traveling and just having this freedom for a while before we decide to move to a new city and decide where we're gonna move. And right before we're leaving for our dream trip, where we got to collaborate with a ton of different hotels, I had an accident. I tend to get Charlie's horses. You guys know what that is, or if you've experienced leg cramps. I experience them a lot if I push myself too hard with working out after not working out for a while. And obviously when we were traveling, I would still work out, but I wasn't in as much of a workout routine as I usually am. So then when I started pushing myself hard, I started getting my leg cramps again. Those leg cramps are insanely painful. They wake me up in the middle of the night. One morning I woke up at about 6 a.m. with a massive cramp, and I was screaming and it was just so bad. And then what happened is, I think the shock from the pain made me nauseous, so then I felt like I'm going to be sick and I ran to the bathroom. And because I got up so fast, what happened was I fainted and fell down on the bathroom floor. What happened then was I woke up and I had 6 teeth fractured, and I also ended up getting 7 stitches in my chin, which is starting to heal nicely now, thankfully. This happened about 5 days before our big trip across from America to Europe, and you could probably imagine I was devastated. I was fortunate enough to get into contact with a dentist and get an appointment booked right away, and I managed to get all 6 crowns put in right before the trip. So just to put in perspective, we were leaving on Wednesday to fly from America to London, 7-hour flight, and on Wednesday was also my last appointment. Right after my appointment, I had like 2-3 hours to recover, couldn't eat anything, was super swollen, and then I had to get on the flight that was 7 hours. And it was probably the most stressful and painful 4 days of my life, because obviously having all the stitches and opening my mouth to get all my teeth fixed in such a short period of time was just, you know, it was a lot. But I just didn't want to cancel our trip. We got to collaborate with so many different hotels in so many different areas, and I just didn't want to miss out on it. Luckily, the first bit of our trip was actually to go see my parents in London. My parents live in England. At this point, I had super big swollen cheeks, 7 stitches in my chin. So it was a crazy process, but luckily we were able to spend those days with my family, and I recovered, and my mom made me a delicious Polish soup called rosół, and I was able to recover, and we had a great time catching up with my parents. And after that week, we actually ended up flying to Sardinia, Italy, and I was still recovering, so I wasn't ready to vlog and get back to this. I just wanted to take those few days to just enjoy the sunshine and just keep healing, as it was still hard for me to chew and eat. I just had my stitches taken out right before we left England, so my chin was still, you know, a little sore. After this, we got to fly to Tuscany, Italy, where we got to collaborate with my dream hotel. We just had the most beautiful experience with them. I'll insert a couple clips just to give you guys a perspective of how wonderful our time was there. And it just felt really rewarding, because I was so worried that we would have to cancel on these hotels and not be able to collaborate with all of them because of my little accident. But luckily everything worked out amazingly. And then after a week in Tuscany, we flew to Abu Dhabi, where we are right now at this lovely hotel. called Rotana. And we are staying here collaborating with them as well for a couple of days. However, this is like a longer layover because we are actually flying to Maldives tomorrow, which I'm really excited about, and I will be vlogging the whole time because I'm finally feeling like I'm back to myself. We got this opportunity to collaborate with this hotel. I'm not gonna say much more right now because I just want you guys to experience the whole thing. Now lastly, before the Maldives vlog starts, I wanted to say that this is our last and final destination before we fly back to the States, where we're going to sign a lease and move to our dream city. And yes, we have finally decided where we're gonna move. The next vlog will be revealing where we decided to move. So that's about it. All right, let's get this vlog started. Love you guys. Alright, so we just got our villa and I thought I would give you guys a little tour. I can't really see anything, hold on. So this is the cute little welcome that we've been greeted with. Here's Rowland. Got our 2 coconuts, cute little dessert, coffee, sitting area, little closet area. Let's check out this bathroom. Bathroom and the shower right there. We got necklaces upon arrival, and then check out this lovely bathtub, and then look at that view. Here is the outside, watermelon cake, sitting area, pool, and lounge chairs and a little net, the stairs to literally go into the water. How amazing is this place? What do you think so far?
I think it's amazing. It's beautiful here. I've never seen anything like it. I've only seen similar things on TV or like movies.
Got some bikes, and this is the view. First thing is first, we're gonna cycle in Rowland's tiny little flip-flops. Just finished our foot massage.
Best foot massage of my life.
And now it's drizzling with rain a little bit, and we just got brought some green tea and coconut ice cream, so we're gonna enjoy that and relax. I'm not angry anymore, just a little upset now. And would you look at that? We just come back from a massage, and what did I say?
I said there'd be a rainbow. You promised me a rainbow and you delivered.
And the rainbow is right here. Wow, look at that.
Baby!
Hello guys, today is a bit of a cloudy day, so I decided to run us a little bubble bath. So it is raining right now here in Maldives. I thought I would sit down and film a little Q&A on Instagram and got a ton of really good questions that I'm gonna pull up now. I answered some of them on Instagram and some of them I saved to answer right now. Let's go. This question is, what is your biggest advice in general? I actually answered it on Instagram really quickly. Do what you truly really love, and if you love it enough, you will be patient enough to get good at it, and then money and success will follow. And I wanted to kind of expand a little bit on that because I went through a medical degree and almost basically try to force myself to be very interested in microbiology and work at a lab, and I had interest in it. I loved reading books about, you know, what we're made up of, and it's just interesting to find out about life, and it was almost like a false passion because of that. I loved reading the books, but working at the lab and doing all of that wasn't actually what I enjoyed, and I almost found it hard to admit it to myself because I took myself through the medical route, and once you're in it, it's really hard to admit to yourself like, wow, I might have made a mistake. This isn't the route I want to go in. And so I think that being really honest with yourself is what my biggest advice in life to you guys would be, because I think that a lot of times we either want to please our parents or we have like a set route that we want to follow, but it may not necessarily be truly our passion. And I think that a lot of the times we follow money, we think, oh, this career might provide me with money, so I'm gonna go into this route. But the truth is, if you don't love it, you're probably not gonna get that good at it, and you probably won't end up making as much money as you want. You may get lucky, but with a general rule of thumb, I don't think it works that way. However, if you follow your passion, whether it's being creative or whatever it might be that is your passion, it may seem at the start that it's impossible to make money that way, and that's what it seemed like to me with photography, influencing. You know, when I started influencing, I was 16, 17, and back then nobody was making money doing this. Maybe a few people, but it wasn't very popular. So the truth is that sometimes we may not clearly see how we're gonna make money, but if you follow your passion and learn and enjoy it, then you're gonna get so freaking good at it. Every day you're going to improve and find new ways to make money. So I suggest that you sit yourself down and really just think about what you truly enjoy. And if you don't know the answer to that, then that's your time to try out a ton of different things, because how are you supposed to know what you like and enjoy doing if you haven't tried anything? So I feel very fortunate that I applied to the work experience before I finished my degree and worked at the lab for almost 2 years before I finished my degree, because that gave me enough knowledge to know that that's not what I want to do. And at the same time, I was trying out so many different things. I also worked as a waitress, and I knew that I don't like direct customer service jobs. I knew that working on something that was to do with fashion and being the creative director was something that I liked, because I also worked as a model for other brands, and when I didn't quite understand the vision, it was hard for me to have that passion. It's just really hard to convey the message of their own vision, because I had my own vision and my own creativity. So the reason that I was able to find my passion, and I'm still continuously finding my passions, is because I try. And that's what I would advise: just try, and then once you find it, once you really enjoy it, just go for it. For me, you know, I started a clothing brand 3 years ago. I was doing really badly at the start, but I had passion for it, and even though it wasn't making me much money at the start, I did my other side hustles so I could pay rent, and I dedicated more and more time every single day, even when it was failing, doing it because I truly loved it. I truly love designing and seeing how different clothing comes out after receiving it from manufacturers, and seeing my ideas come to life. It gave me such just excitement that I didn't care that much that I wasn't making money, and I was able to learn and eventually also make it successful and make money that way. Same thing with influencing. You know, I wasn't making money at the start, but I just loved showing you guys like where I travel or how I live my life, you know, lifestyle videos, or whether it's cleaning my apartment or working out or showing a day in life. I just loved sharing and giving advice. And at the beginning I wasn't getting any collabs, but slowly, because I just continued with it even when it wasn't making me money and just tried to get better and better at it, it allowed me to follow that passion. So I know this is a really long answer, but I just love that question, and I wanted to really share that because I think that that's the biggest thing I've learned in my life so far. Let's go into the next question. What's your advice for someone who wants to start a clothing brand? For me, number one advice is ask yourself why you want to start a clothing brand. Is there something missing in the market that you feel like you need to create because there's something missing? Or do you just want to start a clothing brand because it seems like a good idea? Like, you really need to have a reason. For me, that reason was back when I started Jubilee, there really wasn't much loungewear that was elevated and elegant and fun and plushy and sustainable. So that was my reason. And I think that the biggest advice when starting is finding a really good manufacturer. So don't bother releasing or launching anything. Just sample. Talk to a bunch of different manufacturers. You can find them online, you find them through so many different ways. I think that it's important to dedicate a little bit more money per item. For me, I spend a ton before I get any money back, but I would rather dedicate a lot of money per item. And I know that the materials are high quality, so I think just focus on finding high quality garments and focus on having a mission or passion, so that you're not just another clothing brand, right? A lot of people actually asked me, do I speak Polish on this Q&A as well? And the reason is because one of the questions was where I'm from. Yes, I speak Polish fluently. I left Poland when I was 8, I believe, and so I've spoken Polish ever since I was little with my parents, and then I continued to speak Polish to my parents even during our time living in England, and that's when I learned English as my second language. So for a really long time I spoke Polish better than English. Right now I would say it's pretty much the same, maybe a little bit better in English because I use it so much more, but I can still speak it fluently. Tips on how to get through long distance relationships. Some of you guys may know, my husband Rylan and I met on Instagram. He was living in North Carolina and I was living in England. I've had quite a lot of experience with the long distance relationship, and I would say the biggest thing is just have trust. Don't be too clingy, focus on yourself. The beauty about the long distance relationship is that you both can focus on your life without having any distractions that could also be, you know, your partner. Like, you have all this time in the world to really better yourself. So for myself and Rylan, when we couldn't see each other for a couple of months at the time, we just really focused on growing because our love inspired us to get better and to be the best versions of ourselves. Working out and eating healthy, you have all this time when you don't have your partner right there all the time. So I think the biggest advice is just to really focus on yourself, because you kind of have to enjoy that time when you're just on your own and really dedicated to making yourself even better. That way, you know, you're constantly occupied so you don't miss them all the time. Because for me, I would always try to occupy myself with studies, gym, you know, being with friends and feeling happy, so that I didn't constantly think about him and how much I missed him. Have like a deadline of when you guys are meeting, so then you can look forward to it, and then you're even more motivated to be the best versions of yourselves and do everything. Because if you don't know when you next will be seeing them, that's when it becomes really hard. Even if it's really far in advance, book tickets, whether it's train, flights, just so you have that one date to look forward to seeing them. Someone asked, best advice when thinking about having a team for your brand. I only have one employee right now, Jessica, of course. So I don't know about building a huge team, but I do know one thing, and that's build your team slowly. A lot of people may not agree, but personally I feel like you have to feel a connection to the people you work with, and you have to make sure that you trust them, and trust is obviously earned slowly. It's all about creating a family, and I know that sounds cringy, but for me, my goal and my dream with Jubilee, as I continue to hire, is to have a ton of women and men that just want to support each other, are there for each other, and we all want to grow Jubilee because we know that it will also help us grow and have a better life ourselves. And with Jessica, I feel that passion with her. I know that she cares deeply about Jubilee and growing with Jubilee, and she also cares about me, and I feel the same way about her, and that's why we work so well together, and that's why I'm able to travel and trust her with the warehouse and fulfilling all the orders. So I think that building your team slowly, if you can, is great, because then you can really get to know each and every one of your team members, and that would be my advice. That's about it. I don't want to make this Q&A too long because obviously it's just a little part of our Maldives vlog. See you guys later. Alright, we are back at our little villa from breakfast, and it is so lovely today. We're gonna have some fresh coffee and just sunbathe and relax for a little while. We ordered a floating breakfast today, so we're gonna go ahead and do that in about an hour or two, but right now we're just gonna get some sun. YouTube. Floating breakfast has arrived, and we have already started. Got some yogurt, fruit flake, croissants, coffee.
Tell me your favorite thing about the Maldives.
Seeing the little baby sharks, we were just casually on our little bike, riding around the little ocean villa, and we looked down and there is this shark, and it's this big, and it's just... And this was my first time seeing a shark in real life, so that was pretty epic. And then right after, we see another shark, So that was unbelievable. That was crazy. We saw like 9 of these immediately when we got to Maldives. And it's like no one was even paying attention to it. And that made me think, wow, this is how to be careful. And then we get to this villa. And I just walk to the edge of the pool and I look in the water. What do I see? In the first 5 seconds, I see another huge, massive shark. And I'm like, oh my God, they just told us to go snorkeling. I'm like, I don't know. Crazy, it's crazy. But what was your favorite one? Without a doubt, my favorite animal I've probably ever seen was a bat here in Maldives. Zoo. The bats are different here though, because we have some bats in England. I grew up in England, and they're like this big. And then this year we've also gone to Bali, and they were about this big there. But the ones here are crazy. It starts flying. The wingspan was like this. Cobra bats. I'll insert a photo right here. They're different. You're not like your regular bat. Like your regular batty. And now we're gonna go and do a jet ski.
It ain't easy. As long as I'm with you, I'm walking on the moon.
So we're about to go to dinner. This is our last night. So we're all dressed up. I'm wearing my white little dress. And we feel super fortunate and blessed to be here. So today is our last day. Next vlog will be us moving to our dream city.
Maldives was fun.
Rylan pissed on the shark.
I did.
He went for a little wee-wee in the morning. And he looks down, and I look down with him. Don't ask why I was standing right next to him whilst he was urinating. When we see this gigantic shark, the biggest one we've seen, with the massive head like this big. And that sums up the Maldives vlog. Subscribe.